he'll do is he'll actually take a range of motion of the hip. So he has the hip, and he'll take ankle center and knee center, so he knows the actual anatomy of that patient. So we have the hip circumference, the ankle center. So we have all the alignments that he needs. So when we get into the preciseness of the actual procedure, he has all that data on the patient. So I've already done that to save some time. And then when we come in, he's going to actually use this device. This is the Point Pro. This collects all the data. And it has to show up to the camera. And you can see it on the screen here, my Point Pro. And if I take away a few of my points, they're gone. What I have here is a couple spots that the surgeon has taken on the patient's anatomy. So when I come in, this is patient specific. So if he came up and did his knee done and she came up and did her knee, these are going to be totally different anatomy. So what I'm going to do is basically depress my foot pedal, and you'll start to see a 3D bone model start to form for this particular patient. So any data I collect is going to help the surgeon know exactly where he needs to be when he starts cutting the bone. Wow. So these are all my data collection spots here. And I can move the screen to get more data. So once we've captured all this anatomy from that patient, what our goal is to place our implant, which looks like this, because we're now taking away that bad bone and replacing it with an implant so the patient has no more pain, so they can walk better. So we want to place this implant correctly, right? We want to place it somewhere it's going to hurt the patient. So we come in and we have an image here, and the surgeon can come in and actually manipulate where he wants that implant. So just to kind of give you guys an idea, I can bring this implant way far away from the patient's anatomy, which is not good, right? So, and then I can also bring it down and manipulate it exactly where he wants it. So again, precise and precision and accuracy is what he's shooting for. So once we've captured that, we go and do the same thing for a tibia. Once we've placed the tibia where we want it to be, we go through and see different views of it. We then go through a ligament balance. So when you guys walk, there's two sides of your knee, right? And they articulate differently. Well, we want to make sure they're articulating correctly so they're not unbalanced. So this is where he balances the knee, or she balances the knee. And we can make adjustments and make sure that this graph looks exactly where we want it to look. And he's shooting for a 2 millimeter gap, which means nothing to you guys, but that means it's an equal balance for both parts of the knee. So you guys are going to be walking without any pain. So then when we like that, we can see how that's tracking. Once the implants are in, he can actually see how the patient's going to walk with these implants already in before he's even cut the bone. So that tells me and tells the surgeon that these are exactly where they're supposed to be, and their patient's going to walk and have zero pain, and the outcomes are going to be great. So you guys can see I'm kind of going through this fast, but you guys can see that accuracy and precision is what we're getting out of this computer system here. So then I'm going to double check my checkpoints, which we put in for any computer system has checkpoints, so we know that nothing's moved. If these tracker arrays move, it's going to think the leg moved in a position we don't want it to be. So the fun part comes from this handpiece. So this is a handpiece that we use for all the women in the room. It's like going to the nail salon and getting your nails done. It's like a high-speed nail file. Okay, so it goes at 80,000 RPMs. It's really fast. These colors represent a depth of resection. So this is the really cool part, is that this will only let the surgeon cut what we've designated to cut for that procedure and that patient's anatomy. So what I'm trying to do is, you'll see, once I get into my cut zone, the burr will come out to where I'm supposed to cut, and when I get away, it retracts up. So this barrel protects my burr. So it'll actually retract out when it's ready to cut, and it'll retract back in when it's not supposed to cut. So it only goes to the depth and the actual area. So I don't know if you guys can see this. When I come in, it's coming out.
Yeah.
And then for you guys over here. And if I get away, it retracts away.
Wow.
Alright, so I'm going to come in, and I'm going to start burring down. And then basically, you'll see in this picture here, that when I'm on my white, which is my target depth, it retracts up and it won't let me cut anymore. So the surgeon cannot cut any more than he's supposed to cut. If I get out of the zone, it won't let me cut either. My foot's still on the machine.
Great.
So we go through and we do all that. We'll just burn it all out. So it'll take a bunch of time. Save you guys some time here. We do the same thing for the tibia, but we have another mode of control. So this is the exposure mode, so the burr comes in and out. The second one is a speed guard. So it's very difficult to get back into that compartment, into that capsule, because of the bones and the meniscus and everything else back there. We take that guard off, so now the burr is exposed. So now it just stops on speed. So it just slows down and stops when it's not supposed to cut anymore. So once it hits the depth, or if again it gets out of that cut zone. So let's change that. So we do that in our tibia. Come in, start burring, and it won't let me cut because I can't see my handpiece. And it'll just stop as soon as I hit white. See? My foot's still on the foot pedal. And once I've completely cleared this all out, so it's all white, the surgeon will then trial all the implants to make sure it fit completely well. And the surgeon can change if he wants to. If he feels like we want to go cut more bone, he can go back and change the plan at any time, because we're just basically resurfacing the bone. We're just burring off all that bad bone, all that bad cartilage, and putting that implant in. So when he's done, everything's in. This in the tibia platform is in. He takes the leg through a range of motion to make sure that what we planned for is what we got. So essentially, once I take it through this graph, it should look perfectly like that when he's done. And that's when he says, okay, yep, I'm happy with the results. And that's where the accuracy comes in. So every time we plan, this is what we should get.
Amazing.
So that's essentially what a procedure is in a nutshell. And the total knee is a little bit more complex, and you need different trays and stuff. So that's why I did a uni today. But the total essentially is the same thing, but you have more cut blocks because you have more bone to work with. But it's all done the same concept.
Is it just limited to knees?
Right now we're just in the knees, yep. Those three procedures, the patellofemoral, and then the uni and the total. Yeah. We're gonna probably do knee for a while and then branch off into the hip. We'll probably do a resurfacing of the hip, which is an acetabular